Welcome to the Hearth Game is Everything Hearthstone and Yu-Gi-Oh! Today I'm bringing you a deck profile of Monarchs. First I want to kind of define the purpose of these decks. It's not as powerful as before when it came out, but I mean, it's still decent here and there. It can still do a few things. So the main intention of the Monarch deck is to lock out your opponent from their extra deck. Well, nowadays a lot of decks are reliant on their extra deck. They have their boss monsters there, a lot of useful effects. So locking them out of that is pretty useful. Also, in my version, I want to lock them out from special summoning altogether and also from activating effects. So basically, you're limiting them to normal summons and or monsters without effects. So that's definitely very good to do nowadays, basically having floodgates and also disruptions. So a key card to those disruptions is going to be Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. With Erebus, you're able to shuffle a card from your opponent's hand at random or from your opponent's graveyard or field. So that's pretty useful, and it also, when you do that, you have to send Monarch spell or trap card from your hand and or deck. So that also may activate potential Monarch cards in the graveyard. That's very useful. Also, as long as this card is in your graveyard during either player's main phase, you can discard a Monarch card, and if you do, you can add a monster with 1,400 attack and 1,000 defense from your graveyard to your hand. So again, having this card recurring basically returns your resources. You're able to use additional effects. So I think that honestly, and nowadays, Erebus is more important than Ether, but it really depends on the build, I suppose. But even though Erebus is more important than Ether, I do have triple of these. So what this is able to do is that you can send two, when you tribute summon, you can send two Monarch Spell or Trap cards from your hand and or deck. And if you do, you are able to special summon a monster with 1,400 attack and 1,000 defense, or 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense from your deck to your field. And if you do, at the end phase, that card returns to your hand. And during your opponent's main phase, you are able to banish a Monarch Spell or Trap card. And after that, you can immediately tribute summon either from your hand to the field. So that's a pretty useful effect. Again, I like Erebus a little bit more in my build, but it really depends on preference, I suppose. So now, triple Kaiser Vorse Raider. So this is the one that I prefer, the ones that are able to special summon themselves, because this one, the condition is pretty simple. If you have no monsters on your side of the field, you can special summon this card. Also, it's a level 5, which can activate a lot of your Monarch cards. Has 1,900 attack, which whenever destroys monster gets 500 attack. Generally, that isn't that relevant, but there might be a few occasions where it is. Also, it's a dark monster. Even though I'm not running a Lure of Darkness in this build, it is a possible consideration. I used to run it, but I stopped running that card because a lot of the time, if you banish a key card from your hand, you basically lose. So you definitely don't want to do that. So in addition, I'm having three Eidos and triple EDM. These go together. EDS special summons Eidos. Eidos special summons EDF from the graveyard. And they do have a secondary effect. When EDS used for tribute summon sent to the graveyard, you can return one of your banish Monarch spell or trap cards from the banish zone to your hand. And Eidos, when it's tribute summon sent to the graveyard, you can banish it and recover, and it Edea from your graveyard, special summon it to your field. So that's definitely good and very useful. I do run triples. A lot of people I've seen that they have triple Edea or and double Eidos or a double Edea, double Eidos. I honestly think that's a very key card. It allows you to do a lot of things, and I know that Edea, basically, if your opponent activates Ash Blossom, there goes your plays. Maybe not all of them, but it does limit you quite a bit, especially because, again, this card doesn't have an extra deck where you can go ahead and link summon or do something else with the monster. So it is a little bit dangerous for that to happen. So also I have double Vanity's Fiend. It's a really good card. The only unfortunate thing about this is that it does have 2,400 attack, but it has 1,200 defense. So that's definitely bad because you can't search for it because of that. It's extra 200 defense. Very important card still because you can shut down your opponent with this card alone. A lot of decks nowadays rely on special summon. This impedes your opponent to special summon. So again, very important card. In addition, I also handle double Majesty's Fiend. So this, when normal summon, when on the field, neither player can activate effect monsters' effects. So that's also very, very important. This card alone can also basically shut down your opponent. And the good thing about this is that this one has 1,000 defense, so it is searchable with a lot of your Monarch cards. Now for the spell cards, triple Domain of the True Monarchs. This is your cornerstone card. If you didn't have it at triple, then why would you even run it at all? Because at that point you might as well just run an extra deck. Again, this shuts down your opponent, locks them out of their extra deck, and also you can reduce the level basically of a Monarch, a level 8 Monarch to 6. So that simplifies your summoning for your monsters. It's just an overall great card, to be honest. I really like it. It's very important, and again, it's if you're running a Monarch deck, you basically have to run 3 Domain of the True Monarchs, unless in the future a better Monarch card comes that is more extra deck focused. But in the meanwhile, it's basically you handle Monarch deck, you have to have this card. Following by 3 Tenacity of the Monarchs, your main searcher. It's very easy to fulfill the condition. You just have to show a monster with 2,400 attack or 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense. And you can basically add any Monarch card, spell or trap card. And yeah, I mean, it's a really, really good card. Another really good card is the Monarch Stormforth. So it allows you to tribute summon or to tribute one of your opponent's cards. It's a quick play spell card as well, and you don't have to do it immediately after you activate the card. So it's definitely very, very flexible. And yeah, again, great card. Have a little bit of draw power with Trade-In. You have a lot of level 8 monsters, so having this again, throwing an Erebus to the graveyard, really doesn't affect you that much. It can benefit you a whole lot as well. Now, double Return of the Monarch. So you're able to, when you tribute summon a monster, you can add a monster with 2,400 attack or 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense from your deck to your hand. So this gives you additional resources. Important card. 2, I think that is enough to handle. Now again, 1 Pantheism of the Monarchs. If this was at 3, it would definitely be better. I'm not sure if that alone would make it a competitive deck, but still, it would definitely improve a lot on the deck's consistency. So 1 Reinforcement of the Army, you're able to search for Edea with this card, so why not? 1/1/1. Again, you can special summon Edea from your deck to your field with this card. And finally, moving to the traps. Triple, there can only be one. This deck really isn't impacted too much by this card. I mean, Edea and Eidos are different types, so that's pretty good. And then you just use them for tribute summoning, so there's no real impact. And it again locks out your opponent. That's what you want to do. You want to disrupt your opponent's deck, their plays. This definitely helps you on doing that. And finally, double the Prime Monarch. Basically serves as tribute fodder, but also you can return Monarch cards in your graveyard to your deck, and it allows you to add to draw a card. So it definitely has that versatility. A lot of the times you're just going to use it for the graveyard effect. Again, you basically get a free tribute fodder at any point. So yeah, it's a pretty important card. So again, this deck does not have any extra deck because of the field spell. So if you have any comments, please leave it there. If you liked the video, leave a like. And again, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate any feedback. I wish you have a nice day.